What's up, guys? Zuko back with another Shadowlands video. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing very well. I hope you're enjoying all the videos that we're doing on the PTR testing. We are going to do a few more for Enhancement Chum, and before we move on to Ellie, I know. First of all, get your coffee. I got the reindeer today. Look at this. I'll go big again. We get the reindeer. Look at this thing. The gnomes are still hanging out with us. Okay, keeping us company. What are we doing today? We're looking at I'm going to clean up a few things on the enhancement shaman builds, and then we're going to move on to Ellie shaman later today. Thank you so much to all of you guys who commented and talked about the builds and asked for more stuff. We're going to do two things in this video today. Okay, we're going to test um, two builds that I didn't do yesterday, or one variation on a build that I didn't do yesterday, and then one new build that I didn't do yesterday that I tested, but anyway, I'll talk about it in a minute. First of all, thank you to Static Avenger, Tomic, and then there's somebody in the comments with a very German name, and I didn't know how to say it, and so I'm very sorry. I think it was German. My apologies. But Tomic and Static Avenger, and then this other person, you all asked for Hailstorm and the Chill to the Core talent with the Wolf build. So that's what we're going to look at first. Okay, so we've got Chill to the Core. It's only 226, but whatever. It'll get better. Chance to generate more Maelstrom stacks, as you've all been wondering. And then obviously we're gonna put that into Frost Shock with Hailstorm. I just ran this build a second ago, and it looked Frost Shock. Unsurprisingly, Frost Shock does a lot of damage. I'm gonna test it again for you guys. We're gonna do that first, and then we're gonna actually test um, Deeply Rooted Elements. Oh, it's not even showing up here. Is it down here? Here it is. We are gonna test Deeply Rooted Elements, so stay tuned for that in a second. But first of all, let's do the rotation. We are doing the tier set bonus, right? So we're getting a bunch of feral spirits, and as you guys were mentioning in the comments, the most important part of this in terms of the Hailstorm um, buff is that you're going to get these Storm Strike procs, which is great, and also the dogs can increase your frost damage, right? So, or just make you do more frost damage. I guess the ice dogs don't increase your frost damage, but they just do more frost damage. But the point is, you're going to be getting the Storm Strike reset all the time, which means that's going to be pushing you into spending Maelstrom, which will push you into getting easy Frost Shock cast stuff. So I just tested this a second ago, and let me tell you, it's a lot. It's sort of a little overwhelming, but it's good and it works. So this is what we got. We're got the Feral Spirit Wolves build, Witch Doctor Wolf Bones, plus we have the Fey Transfusion Reduction. We're running Ellie Blast with Hailstorm with Elemental Spirits. One thing that I didn't really understand about this build until just now, actually, so call me a noob, but it's very cool. You can convert the single target Elemental Blast Spender into an AoE Frost Shock damage. Like, the concern on AoE is that you don't want to press Ellie Blast because Chain Lightning gets so much value. Ellie Blast, you do want to press it, but it's just that you're going to get so much value out of Chain Lightning, and Chain Lightning reduces the cooldown of Crash Lightning, and it's going to generate and Crash Lightning has the highest chance of generating Maelstrom stacks, right? So like you want to be pressing Crash Lightning into Chain Lightning to get Crash Lightning back, and then sometimes it feels like Elemental Blast is just like left out in the field somewhere because you don't want to press it because you're doing AoE damage. However, with the Frost Shock build, you can press Ellie Blast and then you can press your Frost Shock, and you're sort of making up the difference there. I think anyway, in my head, that's how it works out. Does that make any sense? I think it's really nice. So here we go. Totems down. Same startup, okay? We go Feral Wolves into Fey Transfusion to get the cooldown back, and then we're just doing our normal rotation, getting Frost Shock going. Here we go. Wolves, Fey. We got two Lightning Wolves right off the bat. Crash Lightning into a Spender, into Frost Shock. Storm Strike, Spender. Our Wolves are back. We're going to summon them. Frost Shock. Crash, Spender. We're going to wait for a second. Frost Shock, Storm Strike, Spender, Crash, Frost Shock. The rotation's very weird. I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't do this right. One thing you need to note, get a Flame Shock out first. Okay, get that Flame Shock out first. Okay, Frost Shock, Crash Lightning. You know why? Because we're going to press Lava Lash because we get to spread the free Flame Shocks. it doesn't interfere with Frost Shock anymore. If you just cast one Flame Shock right off the bat, it doesn't interfere because you can spread it. You don't have to press Flame Shock anymore. Oh, it's actually so good. I didn't even think about that, but it's really, really strong. Gonna press Lava Lash to make sure we're spreading. Wolves are back. I'm sorry, I haven't been pressing wolves as much as I should be. Watch the Frost Shock cast with the wolves. You're right, it gets the wolves back really, really fast, and I haven't been casting them nearly quick enough. Okay, let me start this again. That was just a bad test. It wasn't bad, but you can see Frost Shock is obviously going to do insane damage. But one thing I wanted to say right off the bat that I forgot to say. Frost Shock and Flame Shock share a cooldown. So when you start the fight, you need to press Flame Shock once, and then you need to press Lava Lash because it now spreads Flame Shock for free. It used to be with Frost Shock that you almost never got to cast Flame Shock because they shared a cooldown, and you want to be pressing Flame Shock or Frost Shock, sorry, for the cleave that it's doing with Hailstorm. But now you can get both because Lava Lash just spreads it for free. Okay, I wasn't pressing wolves anywhere near enough, so let me reset that and let's try again. That was just a bad showing. So wolves into Fey Transfusion, and then somebody yell at me in the future. If you're watching this in the future, yell at me to cast my wolves, okay? Or I'm gonna forget. Flame Shock first, then wolves, then Fey Transfusion, then we're gonna go Lava Lash, then we're gonna go. I know that's a lot of buttons, but let's do this. So we go Lava Lash. We go this, this, this. Here we go. This, Sundering, hit, Frost Shock. Wolves are back already. You didn't yell at me quick enough. Somebody yell at me. Spender, Frost Shock. Wolves are almost back. I got one Lava Lash in there. Okay, wolves are back. I heard you. I heard you. Lava Lash. Ellie Blast. See how much better the damage is with all the extra Flame Shocks? Lava Lash, Frost Shock. Wolves are back. We're going. I got them. I actually pressed them that time. Ellie Blast, Frost Shock, Lava Lash. Keep that going. Okay, Crash Lightning. Let's get the cooldown. Again, I'm not playing this optimally, I know. I'm just bad. Okay, wolves are back. They do just get you so many procs, it's crazy. It does feel like there's maybe a lot of buttons you need to be pressing, but you'll get there. I'll get there. If I can get there, you can get there. Wolves are back. Last time we're gonna do wolves. The Frost Shock damage is pretty amazing, I'm not gonna lie. We would do this, right? Fey Transfusion's back, so we're gonna wait. Okay, we're gonna cast our wolves, then we're gonna Fey Transfuse, and that would be the end of the fight. That's sort of the combo. So there you go. Let's look at that. That's a much better take there. So Frost Shock is king, of course, in the AoE situation. Our Raptors are still doing 10% of our damage because they were up for so long. Look at the Feral Spirit uptime. It's 88%. That was a 2-minute fight. Okay, 1 minute 59. That's a 2-minute fight there. Feral Spirits were up for 90% of that fight. That's insane. Frost Shock does crazy damage, of course, but also look at all the Flame Shock damage. We cast Flame Shock once in that entire encounter, and because of the Lava Lash spreading, you're getting an extra 10% damage. So, like, I think you guys are definitely right about the Frost Shock build moving into 9.2. Because of the Lava Lash change, the Frost Shock build is now better. Like, it was probably good anyway. I don't run it as much as I should, so I need to actually work on that. I need to play that better. But like, the bottom line is, because of the Lava Lash buff spreading Flame Shocks for free, you don't have to press Flame Shock more than once I mean, pack to pack, you're going to have to, but that's okay because you cast it on pull, and then by the time you're ready to spend your Maelstrom, the Frost Shock cooldown is back, and then you can just press Frost Shock for the rest of the encounter, and you don't have to press Flame Shock anymore, right? So it's a huge quality of life and damage buff to the Frost Shock build because Frost Shock and Flame Shock share a cooldown. I think that that's actually a really amazing under the hood thing that I didn't notice before, and like, yeah, I think you guys are completely right about this. It's just really good, and the damage is exceptional. You could probably sustain 13 to 15k AOE damage. Like I played this probably like crap, right? We have no trinkets here. We're not using lust. I mean, this is just like a baseline amount that we're getting, and I think it worked out incredibly well. So um, yeah, I'm with you guys here. I think that that's really good. Okay, so that was the Frost Shock build with the wolves. Now I want to move on to the Ascendance build, and we're gonna see if this has any merit whatsoever. I'm gonna give you a disclaimer here that I tried this off camera yesterday, and it just felt really bad to me. But I don't know. What we need to do is test this over the course of like a 2-minute period of time. So we're gonna get the timer out. Okay, we're gonna get the timer at the stopwatch. We're gonna put it here. We're gonna go for like, let's say we go for 3 minutes. We need to see how many procs we get in a 3-minute period of time. Okay, that's really important with this particular legendary. If you don't know, the Deep Elements legendary says that using Storm Strike has an 8% chance to activate Ascendance. So we're gonna run obviously Storm Flurry because it has a chance to trigger Storm Strike again, and then we're gonna run Ellie Assault because the Storm Strike increased damage also applies to your Wind Strike when you get the Ascendance proc. We're not going to run Ascendance itself. We're going to stay with the Spirit, the Wolves, because we simply want to be generating. We want to be getting the buffs from these guys, the buff to lightning damage. Um, Actually, I guess it doesn't buff Ascendance damage, which makes sense because these talents are on the same row. Wonder if it's worth just taking Ascendance. I'm kind of just doing this on the fly. I haven't tested this like for real yet, but the other the only other buff we could get would just be the Frost Wolf, which gives us like 30%, converts 30% of our damage into frost damage, or adds 30% more damage. The Lightning Wolf wouldn't actually buff um the Ascendance damage because Ascendance damage is like physical and wind. I think it's a wind strike. I don't know. Let's try it with wolves for now. Let's just try it with wolves. Let's go with these two here, and let's see how it goes. Let's do a timer for like 2 to 3 minutes and just see how that kind of works for us. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go wolves into Fey Transfusion and hope to get the Ascendance proc. All you're doing is pressing Storm Strike, basically. So let's get this down again. Here we go. Ready? Oh, I didn't start the timer. It's okay. We'll start it now. Wolves are almost back. Oh, I need to spread Flame Shock. With every build now, you can spread Flame Shock. That's what's really cool. We haven't got a proc yet, I don't think, right? See what I mean? Like, this just feels bad. We haven't got a single proc yet. Unless I'm crazy. I don't think we've got one. Oh, I keep forgetting to spread Flame Shock because I'm an idiot. I don't know if like this requires us to be in combat, like actual combat. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes these things are like bugged a little bit, and they don't. Like we are wearing it, right? We haven't got a single proc in a minute. Over a minute. I guess just a minute. The first 15 seconds I wasn't. What if we tag this guy and get hit a little bit? Okay, now we're in combat. Like, truly in combat. We're gonna press Wolves and Fey Transfuse. Get a full reset here. There's Wolves. Fey Transfuse. I'm pressing Storm Strike. I'm not getting anything. So, I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is bugged. It could be bugged. That's a fair statement there. That it could just be bugged right now. I don't think we've got the proc once, right? So that feels kind of bugged to me. Feels bugged, man. There we go. We got it there. Man, I wonder if it has to do with combat or something.
I'm out of range.
Okay. Let's just reset here. We got it. Like, that wasn't good at all. That was terrible. We're going to try one more time. And then, oops, sorry. What do we have for this? Doesn't really matter, right? We want this, but it doesn't matter as much for the Ascendance proc. So we're out of combat again. I mean, this should just work on these dummies, right? It should. Get this down. Let's wait a couple seconds for our wolves, but we can just start this fight. I'm gonna start in 5 seconds here. I don't know what to say. I mean, proc that you saw it proc once, so let's just see if we can start it again. Let's reset the timer. We're gonna go.
I need to
Spread flame shocks right away. No procs. That was 3 storm strikes in a row. Wolves are out. Let's Fey Transfuse. We have a lot of lightning wolves right now. Our storm strike damage is crazy. 6,000 storm strike. There we go. We got 1 proc in 30 seconds. Okay. Interesting. Interesting there. Let's keep going. Let's go for like 3 minutes here. Wolves are coming back. Press them. Sundering. One really cool thing about the Fire Wolf, like the value of the wolves now. Oh, there's a second proc. Okay. Okay. Okay, I see you. I see you, Ascendance. Really quickly, I want to say the value of the Fire Wolves now is just like so much more than it used to be, because you get to spread these free flame shocks. Like, look, I have 3 free flame shocks ticking. If I get a Fire Wolf, then all those things start doing 20% more damage, right? So, okay, we've gotten 2 procs in a minute and a half. That's not very good, in my opinion. There's a third one, okay? Third proc. Crash Lightning, Wind Strike. You get about 4 Wind Strikes out in the Ascendance window, which is cool. We have Fey Transfusion coming up. I'm just going to use it, even though it's inefficient. We'll get our wolves back. Storm Strike. Storm Strike. Wolves. Storm Strike. Two-minute mark. Okay, that's our 4th Ascendance proc. Oh, we got so many. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that was sick. That was so many right there. Oh, 5th Ascendance proc. Wow. 6th Ascendance proc. We get another one. Oh my gosh. 7th Ascendance proc. Wow. Okay. Okay. That was 7? 8? No, that was 7, right? Somebody do my math for me there. I think that was only 7. There's an 8th one. Wow. Oh, a 9th one. I gotta move this bug report. I'm sorry about that. That was really annoying, probably. We got 9. We're going for the 3-minute mark here. Wow. That was insane. It looks like 9 in 3 minutes. I mean, I can't complain about that. I mean, look at that. Okay. Well, that was pleasantly surprised. This is why I wanted to say you need to test this over a 3-minute period of time. If you just the first like minute was kind of miserable. We got 2 procs in 2 procs in a minute, and then we got 9 procs in 3 minutes. See the difference there? Like it looks like the procs were 30 seconds apart. Like 2 in 1 minute is 30 seconds, but 9 in 3 minutes is 3 procs a minute instead of 2 procs a minute. So that's like once every 20 seconds instead of every 30 seconds. So if you average this out over time, you're probably looking at something like you're going to get a proc of this once every 20 to 30 seconds. That would be my guess. And you might get lucky like we did and get back-to-back procs, which would be kind of neat. One thing I do know from testing this a long time ago is that if you take Ascendance and you get a proc during Ascendance, it just adds time to your Ascendance. And it also does this big AoE. This top damage here, this is just the burst from AoE. It does 6,550 damage when you activate it, and that's just the AoE burst right there. The extra wind strikes are down here, right? One wind strike right there, another wind strike here. So 2.8% plus 5.5. That's 7. That's 8% of our damage was just wind strike, and then 14% of our damage was the actual proc that we were getting. So I don't even know. That was a good test. I think that was a really good test. And I don't know if you want to run this build, I think you actually could. I don't know if you should run Ascendance. This is the big question with this build, right? So I think that Elemental Spirits is probably better because it gives you the Wolves back more often, which gives you more of your Stormbringer procs. And that's all you want to be pressing is Storm Strike. That's all you want to press, right? On top of that, as I was mentioning before, if you get a Fire Wolf now, I got one. I'm going to do Flame Shock, and I'm going to spread my Flame Shocks. All those Flame Shocks are doing more damage, right? Which is great. Like, all those Flame Shocks are doing 20% more damage, because that's what the Fire Wolf does. Oh, he's gone now. Anyway. This is, oh, this is the wrong one. This is good. This is good here. There's nothing wrong with this at all. I'm actually super shocked. Oh, get out of here. I don't want to go there. Go here. Honestly, I'm shocked. My testing initially was pretty bad with this. As you saw in the first test, it was very bad. I think that it's really weird. Sometimes it's bugged and it doesn't put you in combat. It's like sometimes you can do testing on these dummies and they're like neutral dummies, so they don't really put you in combat the same way that like a guy who goes red puts you in combat. It's like a different state of combat. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's actually not bad at all. Um, This is great. And like I love the playstyle. Sometimes it can be feast or famine, which like it feels bad to play. But like in over the course of a Mythic Plus dungeon, let's say if you're running this in Mythic Plus, you'll get tons of value out of this. So this is good. I think it's actually good. Nothing wrong with this at all. Um, and then of course, Frost Shock, as you guys were saying, the biggest part about this Frost Shock build with the Elemental Spirits Witch Doctor Wolfbones build is this line right here. 10% more damage from Flame Shock. Because you can press Flame Shock once at the beginning of the fight, and then you can just press Frost Shock for the rest of the fight, and your Lava Lash will continue to spread Flame Shocks for you. And that is an incredibly significant buff to the Frost Shock playstyle. It's such a good quality of life thing that you don't have to like try and yeah. It basically gives you the effect of Ice Strike for free without having to use Ice Strike because nobody wants to use this ability, right? So there you go, guys. That is the Witch Doctor Wolfbones with Hailstorm. Very strong, as you all thought it would be. So I guess I'll have to start running it. But I'm not going to say that you were right because you're not, obviously. I'm not going to say that. Okay. Okay, you guys might have been right. Okay, the point is, Hailstorm's good. You can get Frost Shock, Flame Shock value because you don't have to press Flame Shock more than once. And then the Ascendance build, I think is good. I think it's actually really good. I'm so surprised by the damage numbers that we got. So if you want to run that build, go run it, man. Don't count it out. This looks actually really fun. I love the interaction, obviously. So that's those two builds. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Keep those comments coming. Thank you so much for the feedback, and we'll see you in the next one.